You know, we live in a day and age where everyone is trying to cancel others and having complete and utter mental breakdowns on Twitter because somebody has a controversial figure on a very widespread podcast. Now, if you don't know what the whole ordeal is that I'm talking about the Joe Rogan Experience. If you don't know what the Joe Rogan Experience is, Joe Rogan, he's a very, very funny comedian who holds his own podcast. I'm pretty sure it's one of the largest podcasts, if not the biggest podcast in the entire world. Well, there's probably bigger ones, but his is super massive and it has a very big following. But yesterday on the Joe Rogan Experience, he decided, he was going to bring in a controversial subject. But it seemed that Twitter just couldn't handle it, and they just decided to absolutely lose their fucking minds because somebody dare have this man on a source. Now, if you don't know who I'm talking about the man of crazy theories and gay frogs himself, Alex Jones. If you don't know who Alex Jones is, he's a very big theorist who makes these outlandish claims. The aliens are going to come down from the sky and probe our brains, or not stuff like that. But I feel that Alex Jones has good intentions at the end of the day. I actually like Alex Jones. Whenever I'm, playing video games in the background, I might actually listen to Alex Jones. I don't wholeheartedly agree with everything that he's saying. I don't agree with most of what he's saying. I think it's just really funny to listen to hear this guy's crazy, wacky theories that nobody decides to listen to, and everyone just writes off. But, I always find that we got this great thing here in America called the First Amendment, freedom of speech, that every voice should be heard, and I want to hear his voice, and I want to see what he has to say. But because Twitter has different opinions, and because Twitter, it doesn't believe in freedom of speech, and everything has to be political, and there's no sign of intelligence or life like Mars, it's just a barren wasteland of nothingness. The snowflakes on Twitter essentially tried to go on a full-out attack on the Joe Rogan Experience, attacking Joe Rogan and pretty much trying to get an answer on why would they even and Spotify even ask the question why they even would let, a person like Alex Jones come onto the website, a person who apparently, he's a right-wing, real big right-wing person. Like, who the fuck cares? Left, right, middle, up, down, northeast, southeast, fucking whatever. Who cares? But everything has to do with politics and a bunch of shit on Twitter. And the funny thing is, Alex Jones, even in the podcast, was even talking about why he's right-wing. And the reason he said he's right-wing is because the right-wing actually tends to listen to him more instead of the left. The left seemingly decides to just write him off and just doesn't want to speak to him because he has different opinions. Oh, he must be this devil or whatever. That's the whole reason why he says he's right-wing, so that's one check mark out of the book. But one of the main points that Twitter and everybody was just going absolutely nuts at the Joe Rogan Experience and Spotify is that Alex Jones made a couple claims, his conspiracy theories that, this and this and this. He had something to do with vaccines and stuff. Vaccines? Seriously? Vaccines? And everyone was like, oh my God, this is so bad. He's lying about vaccines and stuff. Here's the thing about the Joe Rogan Experience. Alex Jones, remember, I watched this entire podcast. The whole point on the vaccine part was actually talking about Alex Jones' opinions on vaccines because he has his own opinions on vaccines. Everyone's opinion should be heard. Everyone's voice should be heard because that's the thing about the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Now, another real big talking point they had was politics and the whole election, the Hunter Biden scandal that's going on. To be honest, I don't want to cover it. I don't really give a shit right now. This is about something else. And most of the podcasts, especially the ending was really funny. I really suggest you guys go watch the Joe Rogan Experience, episode 1555 with Tim and Alex Jones. It was really good. Another real big talking point was Alex Jones's conspiracies. Now, everyone was also going on about these conspiracies that Alex Jones had, but the thing is, Alex Jones, he's entitled to his own conspiracies. Alex Jones does his own research and a bunch of stuff like that into these conspiracies and things like that, but at the same time, while talking about these conspiracies, Joe Rogan and Jamie, his guy, were fact-checking him the entire time. That's very important. He was getting fact-checked the whole time he was going on these tirades and conspiracy theories. That is very important. And of course, people automatically looked over it and were just like, oh my god, Alex Jones is going on about this, but doesn't he realize he... Well, guess what? He was getting fact-checked anyways, so your argument is just bullshit. And I bet you didn't even fact-check yourself when you even wrote that tweet. But there's something main I wanted to talk about in this, and it was that Spotify actually took down the episode for a long time. But for me, this episode is still up on my phone and my, all my stuff. But for a long time, the actual episode 1555 was actually taken down from Spotify for a long time. And this is honestly a little bit worrying. And because Spotify and Joe Rogan, they have not had the best, let's just say friendship in a little while, cooperation. Many workers at Spotify don't like Joe Rogan and his podcast, and it's because he brings on right-wing people onto his podcast, not like ultra far right, like ultra nationalist, racist people. Maybe he does sometimes. Maybe these people have hidden backgrounds and shit like that. Who the fuck cares? But he's because he brings on right-wing people that Spotify employees don't like him. But here's the thing, Joe Rogan, I would say, is pretty moderate. He's pretty in the middle. Joe Rogan hears facts and stuff from people on the left and the right. He actively invites people from both sides, both political standpoints, onto his podcast. But because the employees decided to take it in their own hands and decided to shut up a person, Alex Jones, who has right-wing opinions, along with Tim. I think Tim is also a right-wing. He thinks more right-wing, more conservative than others, like along with Alex Jones. I wouldn't say that. Don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. I didn't know him exactly when going into this. I really only knew Alex Jones because I learned a lot from InfoWars and a bunch of shit. I didn't learn a lot from InfoWars. I learned about InfoWars and Alex Jones a lot. But I also just want to say to these employees and stuff like that, you know what? Guess what? Who the fuck cares if you're left, right, middle, up, down, center, northeast, southeast? Like, who cares? It's northwest. Who cares at the end of the day? If you don't like somebody because they have a different opinion than you, then big deal. They have a different opinion than you. And that's their opinion. Nobody can outright say somebody's opinion is wrong because it is their opinion, and you can't, suppress someone else's opinion. You can disagree, but guess what? You can't suppress somebody because they have someone else's opinion. And I remember that a lot of employees were actually threatening to walk out on Spotify and pretty much just leave the company as a whole, just a multi-million-dollar, even possibly billion-dollar company. You're just going to walk out of a fucking job like that. Yeah, I wouldn't walk out of a fucking job like that any day of the week. If my company makes millions upon millions, billions even of dollars. I don't know how much money these Spotify employees fucking make, but I wouldn't say it's a very small amount of money. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't work at Spotify, clearly. But guess what? You think Spotify, the the head guys, CEOs, they really give a shit because, a couple hundred, maybe, a couple people walked out because they didn't like the Joe Rogan experience. Guess what? They're not going to fucking care. You want to know why? Because the Joe Rogan experience, I bet, makes Spotify a metric fuck ton of money. And if you think, a couple of you walking out on a job is going to send a message, yeah, right. And damn well Joe Rogan and Spotify both knew what they were getting into, bringing, Alex Jones onto the show. They were going to get, they were going to get backlash. They were going to get hate for it. But you know what? I commend both of them. I commend Spotify a little less for actually taking down, the Joe Rogan episode for a while. But, at the end of the day, I commend them for actually letting Joe Rogan go through with it and stuff like that. Honestly, taking the backlash real well because Spotify actually defended Joe Rogan and a bunch of stuff like that because, well, it makes them a lot of money. So they're going to do whatever they can, keep him on the fucking show, whatever they can. And they're not going to piss him off. But you know what? I hope, this goes over easily and these Spotify employees, they do fucking walk out. Good fucking riddance because Spotify pretty much already said they don't really care about your opinions and all you do is work for them. So I hope this is, goes over really well with everybody. And thanks to be guys. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, make sure to go like, subscribe, follow me on my social medias in the description below. Make sure you comment your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.